Sobrang di ko pa mapaniwala. Maraming salamat sa suporta. At sana patuloy yung suporta niyo sa akin. Kamusta mga kapong Pinoy? Surprise! Excited na akong imbitahin kayong lahat na manood sa mga laban ko sa Mubadala.
Drones in the sky, tears in her eyes, a diamond ring descending from the heavens. And just like that, the tennis world was shaken to its core. What started as a quiet European dinner turned into one of the most breathtaking off-court moments we have ever seen. Welcome back to Champions Tennis, where something incredible is happening. We have officially crossed 5,000 subscribers. 5,000 passionate, loyal, tennis-obsessed legends who have built this channel into something powerful. Every comment, every like, every second you spend watching has helped create this community. And there could not be a more unforgettable story to mark this milestone than what we are about to share today. Because this is not just gossip. This is not just another headline. This is romance on a cinematic scale. This is a real-life fairy tale starring one of the brightest young stars in the sport. So settle in, because what happened to Alexandra Eala in Europe has left fans stunned, commentators speechless, and the entire tennis internet on fire. We are talking about the pride of the Philippines, the fearless 20-year-old sensation who has been climbing the rankings with relentless determination. Known to millions simply as Alex, she has carried the hopes of a nation with grace far beyond her years. But this time, she was not battling for breakpoints or chasing ranking points. This time, she was stepping into a moment that would change her life forever. The rumors began quietly. A private European getaway. A luxury venue. Tight security. Whispers from insiders who hinted that something big was coming. And then, suddenly, the truth exploded across social media. Alex Eala is engaged. And the way it happened? Absolutely unreal. Imagine this scene. A crisp European evening. The kind of night where the air feels electric and the skyline glows with old-world charm. The exact city remains closely guarded, but sources say it was an exclusive restaurant with sweeping panoramic views, a place reserved for special occasions and unforgettable memories. After months of traveling across continents, fighting through grueling tournaments, and handling the pressure of representing an entire country, Alex was finally taking a rare break. For once, she was not the fierce competitor dismantling top players with icy composure. She was simply a young woman in love, enjoying a quiet dinner with the man who had clearly captured her heart. Witnesses say she looked radiant, relaxed, glowing in a way that had nothing to do with stadium lights. The couple laughed softly over dinner, leaning close, completely unaware that the entire atmosphere was about to transform. Other guests in the restaurant thought they were just seeing a beautiful couple sharing a romantic evening. None of them could have imagined they were seconds away from witnessing something that felt straight out of a blockbuster movie. As dessert plates were cleared and the sky deepened into a velvet shade of midnight blue, a faint humming sound drifted through the air. At first, it was subtle, almost ignorable. But then it grew louder. Heads turned. Conversations paused. People stepped outside onto the terrace, confused but curious. And then it happened. Emerging from the darkness above the European skyline, dozens upon dozens of illuminated drones swept into formation. This was not a small display. This was a massive, perfectly synchronized aerial performance. Lights flickered and shifted with breathtaking precision. The drones swirled in patterns, dancing like mechanical fireflies choreographed by genius. The entire restaurant crowd gasped in unison as the glowing fleet began to align. Slowly, deliberately. One by one, the lights snapped into place against the night sky. And then the message appeared. Clear, bold, impossible to miss. Eala, I love you. Phones shot into the air. Strangers clutched their chests. And at the center of it all sat Alex, staring upward as her name glowed across the heavens. Witnesses say she froze for a split second before her hands flew to her face. The same athlete who stands unshaken under Grand Slam pressure was instantly overwhelmed. Tears filled her eyes as she turned toward her boyfriend, who was already smiling with quiet confidence. But the spectacle was not over. Not even close. As the glowing declaration continued to shimmer above, one drone gently separated from the formation. It descended slowly, hovering directly above their table. Attached beneath it was a small velvet box. The entire venue fell silent. No clinking glasses. No whispers. Just anticipation hanging thick in the air. Alex's boyfriend stood up calmly, reached upward, and untied the box from the hovering drone. The mechanical messenger rose back into formation as smoothly as it had arrived. Then, with the sky still blazing behind them, he dropped to one knee. The velvet box opened, revealing a diamond ring that caught every flicker of light and scattered it in brilliant sparks across the room. Looking up at Alex, who was trembling and crying, he asked the question that changed everything. 5 simple words. Will you be my wife? And in that moment, the tennis world gained something bigger than a champion. It witnessed a love story written in the stars. Stay with us, because in part 2, we are diving into what this means for Alex's career, her 2026 season, the Philippines, and the future of one of the sport's most inspiring young icons. And just like that, with a diamond ring sparkling under a sky filled with synchronized light, a new chapter began for Alexandra Eala. The applause inside that restaurant was thunderous. Strangers wiped tears from their faces. Staff members stood frozen in disbelief. It was no longer just a private proposal. It had become a shared moment, one that everyone present would remember for the rest of their lives. Alex, still overwhelmed, nodded through tears before finally managing to say yes. The word may have been soft, but the emotion behind it was seismic. Her fiancé slipped the ring onto her finger as cheers erupted around them, and high above, the drone shifted formation one final time, forming a glowing heart before fading back into the darkness. It was elegant. It was precise. It was unforgettable. Within hours, whispers of the proposal began circulating online. A few grainy videos surfaced. Then clearer angles appeared. And suddenly, the internet exploded. Fans from Manila to Madrid, from Dubai to New York, were sharing clips of the aerial message. Eala, I love you. The words became a trending topic. Comment sections flooded with congratulations, Philippine flags, heart emojis, and emotional tributes. It was more than celebrity gossip. It felt personal to millions of people who have followed Alex's journey from the very beginning. To understand why this engagement hit so deeply, you have to understand what Alex represents. She is not just another rising tennis star. She is a symbol of possibility. In a country where basketball has traditionally dominated sports culture, she picked up a tennis racket and carved out a different path. She trained relentlessly. She sacrificed normal teenage experiences. She left home to sharpen her game at the prestigious Rafa Nadal Academy, refining her craft among elite prospects from around the world. That decision alone spoke volumes about her ambition. She was never content with being good. She wanted to be world-class. And step by step, she has proven that she belongs on the biggest stages in tennis. Her climb through the rankings has not been accidental. It has been methodical. Her footwork is disciplined. Her backhand is sharp and controlled. Her court awareness is mature beyond her years. But perhaps her greatest weapon has always been her composure. Even when facing higher-ranked opponents, she rarely looks rattled. She studies patterns. She absorbs pressure. She responds with precision. That mental resilience is part of what makes this engagement so powerful. Because for someone who has lived under constant expectation, finding emotional stability off the court can be transformative. Professional tennis is brutal. The travel never stops. The time zone shifts are relentless. Weeks blur together in hotel rooms and practice courts. Wins are celebrated briefly before attention shifts to the next draw. Losses linger in the mind longer than anyone admits. Having a partner who provides grounding, who reminds you who you are beyond rankings and headlines, can change everything. History across sports has shown that athletes often reach new levels when their personal lives feel secure. Confidence becomes freer. Pressure feels lighter. Focus sharpens. For Alex, this engagement may not be a distraction. It may be fuel. The timing makes it even more intriguing. With a career-high ranking hovering in the low 30s and momentum building, she stands on the edge of something bigger. She is no longer just a promising young player capable of upsetting seeds. She is becoming someone other players actively prepare for. Her name in a tournament draw commands respect. Coaches analyze her patterns. Opponents recognize her tactical intelligence. And now, entering the 2026 season with a renewed sense of joy, she carries an emotional boost that cannot be measured statistically but can absolutely be felt. The Philippines, meanwhile, is celebrating in full force. For overseas Filipino workers watching from dorm rooms in the Middle East, for families gathered around televisions in Manila, for students secretly checking live scores during class, Alex is family. Her victories feel communal. Her struggles are shared. And now her happiness feels like a national celebration. Social media timelines are filled with heartfelt messages praising not just the romance, but the symbolism. A young Filipino woman succeeding globally, building a career, building a life, doing it with dignity, doing it with heart. There is something deeply powerful about that narrative. It extends beyond sport. It becomes cultural pride. Of course, questions immediately follow. Who is the fiancé? How long have they been together? How did he manage to orchestrate such a complex drone display without leaks? Details remain closely guarded, and perhaps that privacy is intentional. In an era where athletes' lives are constantly dissected, preserving a sacred space for personal love is rare. What matters most is not his identity, but the evident thoughtfulness behind the gesture. The planning, the coordination, the courage to make a declaration that grand. It shows understanding. It shows respect for who Alex is. She does not live small. She competes fiercely. She dreams boldly. A proposal that literally writes her name across the sky feels fitting. Looking ahead, the tennis calendar waits for no one. Clay season looms. Grass tournaments follow. Hard courts return. Grand slams demand focus. Yet something about this moment suggests that Alex is entering these challenges differently. Not burdened, not distracted, but uplifted. Imagine stepping onto court knowing you are supported unconditionally. Knowing that win or lose, someone is in your corner, not for ranking points but for you. That kind of security can unlock freedom in an athlete's performance. Her forehand, already explosive, may swing even looser. Her defensive grit may grow even more relentless. Her clutch serving in tight moments may feel steadier. Because confidence rooted in happiness is powerful. And then there is the broader narrative. From a junior standout to a professional contender, from a hopeful teenager to a global role model, Alex's story keeps evolving. This engagement is not the end of her journey. It is a new layer, a reminder that athletes are human beings first. They love. They dream. They build families. They chase excellence both on and off the court. In Part 3, we will explore what this means for her long-term legacy, her ambitions in Melbourne and beyond, and how this romantic milestone fits into the remarkable rise of one of tennis's most inspiring young stars.